Hey everyone, I'm Steve Brown with It's My Railroad, and sometimes I get sidetracked. Hey, thanks for joining me here today on Sidetracked. This is the place we keep the stuff that doesn't exactly fit in with one of our project builds, but we want to share with you anyway. So if you're new here, consider subscribing, and then don't forget to push that little bell icon so you can catch future videos. Hey, just before we get started, a quick reminder, our 5K giveaway deadline is fast approaching. It's this Friday night, September 28th, 6 p.m. Pacific. If you haven't got in by then, it's going to be too late. Our friends over at Midwest Model Railroad have hooked us up with $350 worth of gift certificates that we're going to be giving out to whoever wins the raffle on Saturday morning, September 29th, on our Track Smack show that begins at 7 a.m. Pacific. Make sure and tune in. The rules and how to enter and stuff is down in the description. Make sure you click down there when the episode's over so you don't miss out on all the fun. So what are we working on today? Well, as you know, up here in Switch Junction, this is the place we're going to jump off to go down to the second deck through a Helix. Well, to do that, I have to cut in a curved turnout and do a little reworking of some of the tracks. So I have gone and done that. I just felt like working on the railroad, and so I just did it. But the good news is I took video of it while I was doing it, and so what I'd like to do right now is just show you some of the highlights of what I did to put all this in place. I also did some track maintenance, replaced a bad turnout, and really got things looking, I think, pretty good. So we're going to join our broadcast in progress right now as we swap out all of this stuff to put in a new turnout. I've told you before that what I would like to do is insert a curved turnout right here up at Switch Junction. From this curved turnout, it will come down and around and end up going over to the Helix. So what this means is I need to take out this piece of track, put in the curved turnout, put in a little tiny piece of track, make it all line up. The turnout just downstream of it is a good turnout, works really good. I don't want to mess with it at all, because on my railroad, if something works, man, just give it all of its due. You don't want to mess around with it. But beyond that, I need to take out this piece of track, this turnout, all of this track, all the way back to this turnout. Now, here's the thing. This turnout never got set right. Something happened right here where you can see very clearly the track does not properly join the turnout. And what this does is has this effect of screwing up my AR1, my auto reverser, because this is the auto reversing loop. And I get a lot of short circuits right on that frog, no matter what I do. So I'm going to just go ahead and replace this whole thing all the way back to this turnout. We're gonna have to modify this track a little bit, this track right here a little bit to hit the new turnout, route things a little bit different way. Just ahead of doing that though, I've got little Bo Peep and a shepherd and some little sheep and a sheepdog down here that are gonna get annihilated if I don't pull them off. So I'm gonna go ahead and just pull them off and put them somewhere else. We're gonna use them again because I really like my little sheep and shepherd. And then we'll just start up with that curved turnout, start cutting it out, see where we go from there. Okay, so I got my sheep and shepherd pulled out. So the next thing we're gonna do is go ahead and cut this piece of track out. Now, when we've done turnouts in the past, we cut into the turnout first and then pull it out, but I want to cut into the track because I don't want to hurt this turnout. So I'm going to just go ahead right here and cut that piece of track right there and right there and up here. Something to note, actually the track is not joined right there because this was, it's going to change, but this was one of the tracks that cinched a train that flipped my turnout over there. I'm going to move that back a bit. Now we'll move back over and take all of this out, including the turnout I told you about. Let's take a look at that. So I went ahead and basically stripped out everything that I think I need to strip out to make this possible. I'm probably still gonna have to do a little bit more fine tuning, but a lot of this is gonna be covered with scenery. Most of this is gonna be sort of re-terraformed when this new line goes through here, so I don't need to spend a bunch of time on it now. Up that way though, where we get up the loop that goes up to the logging camp, we're gonna have to screw around down there a little bit. But for now, what I wanna do is just go ahead and start somewhere, and I think we're going to start by putting in our curved turnout. I've already gone through and put the rail joiners on. You see them right there. And I've already gone through and prepped the turnout to receive rail joiners. We do that by cutting a railroad tie off. I've got another video that tells you about how I do that, and I'll put a link to it in the card above my head or in the description. But for now, we've got this thing prepped, and we're just going to slide it on. Look at that, Bob's your uncle. All right, so that is where that turnout wants to be. I'm checking here. The little throw doesn't seem to be causing a problem with anything. And it looks like it lines up here okay. Yeah, I think I like it. So anyway, there's that turnout. Now I'm not going to glue any of this stuff in. I'm going to pin it all down where I want it to hold it in place until we know we've got everything. And bada boom, I got all the track in where we're going to put it for now. What still needs to happen is it needs to get wired, it needs to get painted, it needs to get ballasted, attached to the layout, and then cleaned up, and we're going to run some trains on it. So I've done this kind of stuff in videos before that I'll put some links to with this video, but what I think I'm going to do is just go through now and take care of all of that, and then when I see you again in a couple of minutes, or actually about 5 seconds, maybe 1 second for you guys, whatever, I'm gonna have it all cleaned off. We're gonna run a train through here and make sure everything works. So give me a minute and I'll be right back. I decided I wanted to go ahead and actually test this track before I ballasted and everything, because man, I seem to have a lot of problems with track. So I made these little standoffs right here so I could pin the track in the position I wanted to and still run a train over it. Now I've already soldered the feeder wires to it. I did not solder any rail joiners together because I'm really not convinced I need to with all the feeder wires I have. So with that in place, let's just go ahead and test out our track with a locomotive. And to do that, we'll bring in the switcher from switch junction. And as we approach the first turnout, things seem to be running smoothly. He's going a little fast, but he's in a hurry. A little hiccup there, but that's just dirty track. We'll clean it. Look at that. Smooth runnings, people. And there you go. I've got my new turnout in. I've got some new track in. You may be wondering, what's with the different colors of ballast? Well, here's the deal. Around here in the real world on BNSF lines, I have seen this gray ballast with like a pink ballast on top of it. Well, I don't have any pink ballast here, but I wanted to kind of get the same effect. And I think what's happening here is the original ballast is gray. Then when they come back in and they're reworking the rails, maintenance or whatever, they don't use gray ballast anymore. Now they're using white ballast or light gray ballast. So that's what they put in there. If you'll notice, I added a couple details. The sort of maintenance away location used to be back by where the two truck Shay lived, but since that's being torn out, I relocated it over here to the side of this piece of track right here. I've got some rusty rails, I got some railroad ties, a pile of ballast, and I got some guy who's taking a look at pallets. I don't know what he's doing there, but he's looking at pallets. So a little bit of detail. I'm really glad I did this change before I got too heavily involved in the second deck, because as you can see, the second deck is covered with stuff that I used to put this stuff in on the top deck. So anyway, hey, this is the kind of stuff we do here at Sidetracked. It's my railroad and our talk show, Tracks Mag. So if you're into that kind of thing, again, why don't you just go ahead and subscribe. And make sure you like and share this video with somebody. Don't forget about the 5K giveaway deadline this Friday night. And during the course of the week, why don't you just hook up with us on Instagram and Facebook. And until next time, thank you again for joining me here on Sidetracked. My name is Steve Brown. Rail on, my friends.